Hello, Katherine, and welcome to your Who Am I reading. We're actually going to get started with this, your natal chart. Because the draconian chart that we're going to get into, which is the basis of the Who Am I reading, explains where your raw soul came from, or the point in development that your soul was at the time that you first entered human incarnation cycles. Typically, your soul comes to earth to learn many wonderful things, mainly because being in complete perfection, sorry about that, being in complete perfection and connected to the universe sometimes can get boring and you want to develop a sense of self. So souls come to earth in order to develop an identity. And once you get here, you start to accumulate karma as you deal with other people and sort of get things. So on average, it appears that the soul gets stuck here for a few hundred lives. And sometimes if they really get stuck and they can't defeat their own karma, because sometimes, well, all the time, your memory gets wiped each life, you can get stuck here for thousands of years as well. But the blueprint for your undeveloped soul will always be the same. So this thing we're looking at here is the piece of the puzzle that is your life as Katherine. This is this chapter, just one part of your soul's evolution, because Katherine has been male, female, multiple races, genders, religions throughout time, with your goal of going through these incarnation cycles and making yourself like a big bodybuilder in space. So therefore you can go to other universes and other planets and learn different things for yourself. To simplify what this is from a sort of scientific perspective. Imagine that your body at the time that you were born was a radio receiver, because we're made up of protons and neutrons and molecules anyway. These black areas in here are indicative of the way that the sky was set up at the time that you were born. When you took your first breath, these energies entered your little radio receiver baby body, creating the magnetic pull that will take you through this lifetime. As Katherine, you are taking the path of the Virgo this life. This means that you are the healer, the person to be of service, somebody helping other people with their mind, body, fitness, health, or nutrition. You are backed up or led down this journey by two lights: a backlight to show you where you came from, and a flashlight to show you where you're headed. Your backlight is in Sagittarius and thirds. This means in the last life, you were the person who was a philosopher from home. You learned a lot in the area that you came from. Um, and you shared it with the people around you as your way of earning income for yourself or connecting to other people. You will notice a lot of replicas of that in this life, because you have all this energy down here sort of giving you uh, a ripple, if you will, of your past life. In this life, in order for your soul to grow and sort of move to the next phase, you're taking this flashlight, which is Gemini and ninth, which means that you are meant to go somewhere that is at least 2 hours away from where you were born and learn something that you can share with other people in an easy way, something that they did not know, to take the benefit of all your knowledge from this life and the last, and to start to share it. This could mean you write about it, you can make a film about it, because you're going to be helping women and females and families. So that is this life. I felt like that was important to tell you what you're doing this time, so that when we get into this dragon version, this unfiltered version of self, you'd get an understanding of what you're doing this life and how they connect. So let's start here. Your draconic chart. Now, the difference between this chart and the other one is this is starting with your flashlight and your backlight in different areas. Here, your backlight is at 0 degrees, Libra in third, which means coming from being connected to everything. That's typically what Libra is, a part of balance, a part of the all. But for you, that means in your last life, you were really, or not last life, sorry about that. As your first life that you got here, your unfiltered soul, just what you ended up in here with. Your backlight was in Libra, in partnership and communication. You came here actually starting to learn, possibly even with the twin of a sibling in your first life. This means that you have a twin still somewhere out there. So let me know if you've run across that person yet. But the flashlight for you on your way here was in you to learn what your beliefs are and to really stick with them, and share them around the world. So I will say with that there, you are already automatically sort of somebody who is meant to be a pioneer of something. So what would you be a pioneer of? Because remember, this map is a representation of what you came to do in the very first place when you entered these cycles. Before you built karma, before your memory got erased and you got caught up, this is what you came to do. So you came to learn. You really wanted to create an idea of what life was and family, because this is your ascendant is the path that you came to take. You came to find out what it's like to have a family. That's just at your soul level. Do you still feel like that? Your karma that you came with just inherently came from your family. There's something about families that you were meant to transform. It's also where your gift is. You have a gift of naturally empathy, the ability to see or understand what other people are feeling, even in times when they don't, especially when it comes to women and children. You have sort of a sixth sense, if you will, because of this naturally. This also means that who you are as a person, just with this being in your 12th house of karma and in your first house, means that you naturally, your soul is somebody who is very caring. You might also have a hard time with boundaries. Even though you have a new personality now, your soul is your soul and your higher self is still the one guiding you. This is a representation of your higher self guiding you. So with this, excuse the dogs, with this setup here, you are naturally a magnet for other people's feelings, and other people come to you with their problems, so much so that sometimes you have to create boundaries, or you feel burnt out, or you don't recognize other people's boundaries. Because you're so helpful. You have so much information, because that's literally what you came to do. With you having this Leo in the first house, because the first house represents self, the identity of the soul in this case, it's a bit of an entertainer, a muse, public speaker, somebody who inspires others. This leads to the second house of where your natural gifts are, what you already had, just what you came into the game with. Once again, yours are those of the optimist, the muse, the entertainer, the person who speaks to other people, and especially has really good performance and stage skills, but also connecting to children and your own childlike innocence. Now here your sun is in Virgo in the second house, which means that you would make money as a healer, as somebody who helps other people get their lives together. And this was karmic, because here's Neptune. It's karmic that you find a way to help other people with your words. Throughout this journey, or that would be what really helped you financially, because it connects to what you owe here. This is deeply connected to your thoughts and your words in both charts. Like how your mind works is really your best friend. Your intuition is your friend. Now, this third house of communications is where Mercury is. That's where it belongs, at home. So do you write? Have you ever felt the inkling to write? I imagine that if you were able to sit down, clear your mind, and just start letting yourself write, or letting yourself speak, or do even a video diary or audio diary like I'm doing for you right now, you would be able to channel messages. You'd be able to get great inspiration, because you are meant to say or speak or write something that is for other people. Now we're going to skip the South Node since we already came through that. But this Mars and Venus, this means that your partnership, whoever it is that is your twin flame, the other, the masculine that balances out your soul, is deeply connected to the way that you're driven, your passion, what you value, and the beginning of your family. So you guys came here together the first time and made a name for yourselves together, doing a business possibly from home. This could have did with literature or art, horses, even painting, because this leads to your fourth house of family, and also your IC, the root of who you are when nobody else is around. You deeply want to be in a partnership. You're deeply a person who is into balance, trying to find a part of yourself with someone else all the time. You might feel like some part of you is missing, and that's really backed up by the fact that your moon, your emotional being, in your soul chart is in Libra. That means your feelings are connected to somebody else, and they belong to your family. They belong to your core. So please let me know if you found that person, because this seems like a lot of your soul work would be based upon maybe y'all spending time apart, but coming back together by the end would be very important. There's some Scorpio here as well in fourth. The fourth house is all about your family, where you come from, your base and your roots. And that's especially important here, because this is your astrological setup. This gives you some roots from Venus and some roots from Scorpio, which is Hades, Plutonian. Do you have any family members that are sort of hellish? Any circumstances that are shady or really secretive? Have you dealt with any poverty? That would be the case with you having Scorpio here. Even in the family you have now, you might see some residue, so to speak, of that, because the Scorpio leads to your fifth house. Your fifth house is all about the unique way that you express yourself And keep in mind, this is all your soul, what you came with in little pieces of you that might help you understand what you've been working on this whole time, where you're developing. So the Scorpio in fifth means that you started off not sharing your thoughts a lot, not being able to um, connect your words with other people, just keeping it to yourself. Or even your sex life could have been secretive at some point, or you could have had a secret child, just you were really private about your fun activities or what you thought was fun. This was always meant to change into you actually finding a way to take all of your information, which it appears that you accomplished last life, uh, all of your information, all of your suffering, everything you learned from your dark childhood or the difficulty or the amount of time that you spent in this Scorpio and fourth energy, to be a philosopher, to be a storyteller, someone who is able to take the wealth of all their experiences and share them with other people, because this is Palace, your unique genius. So naturally, you have an amazing mind when it comes to children, when it comes to fun, when it comes to dating, when it comes to learning, acting, and entertainment. But also with your Lilith and Sagittarius here, there's a part of you that is always screaming out for freedom um, and willing to do anything to sort of get that freedom here. So that's something to look out for, because that's your dark feminine energy. And yours is all about fight or flight in some cases. It makes you probably the runner in your relationship, your twin flame relationship. The Sagittarius energy of the optimist, the traveler, the explorer, the guru goes into your sixth house, which means that at some point your soul was a religious figure on a day-to-day basis. And it was the business that you had sharing your religious convictions, your thoughts, your beliefs, because Saturn, the planet of restriction, vertex, which is a karmic placement, something that was fated to happen, and Chiron, which is the wound. In this sixth house of your day-to-day activities and what you have to do to be of service means that you eventually had to, after you were able to overcome the darkness of your roots once you arrived on Earth, and keep in mind, this is your first life. It's really mind-blowing, right? But there were some restrictions that were going to lead you into this being a business. And this Capricorn energy means that every day of your life, you're meant to work on your legacy, work on your business, work on what is going to make your name concrete. And keep in mind, your soul really wants to make a name for itself with this. It's overcoming a wound and a restriction in family, in making a name for yourself, sort of, in the universe. So this Capricorn energy of creating a legacy goes to your seventh house. Your seventh house is all about your marriage, your partnerships, your contracts. This means that the person that you were in a relationship or your twin flame is somebody who's older, who came here to help you financially, beneficially. I messed that all up, right? But also somebody who's your friend. With this here, you came with another half that has the same goals as you, because y'all are creating. Because look at this, your seventh house is across from this, which is your first, who you are, which is a family person, but it's also across from the 12th house, which you owe here. So something about your family and this business that you have to create with your twin flame is really important for your legacy for after you're done your incarnations. Now, this Aquarius energy of randomness and the rebel, the alien, the person who's outside the box, goes into your eighth house. The eighth house is all about the seedier things in life: sex, death, taxes, inheritances. In the Draconic Chart, this is a indicator of your nature, your sexual nature, your connection to transformation. With you having Aquarius here, you're willing to go through extreme circumstances to really push the envelope to see how you feel about your identity. This could also mean that there are signs like your sexuality might be varying. This is also backed up by the fact that Pisces is here, which means there will be cases where maybe you'd have sex in your dreams. Or you could really merge with your partners through sexual activities. But this also means that you gain real estate and assets through your friends and through how much you give back to others as sort of a balance here. Now, this Pisces energy goes into the ninth house. The ninth house is all about your beliefs. Like your religious beliefs, if you travel anywhere, foreign lands, foreign food, higher education like professors, spiritual gurus, the people you believe in. With you having Pisces here at the ninth, this gave you an understanding that everything is connected, and it's sort of, you're just building on that, finding out what the pieces are of everything is connected. Because this North Node of you really finding out what you firmly believe in is after you deal with this area over here of seeing everything there is to offer before you decide on something definitive, which is probably what all these life cycles are for. You deciding on what you firmly believe in general. Your MC is indicative of your idea of heaven on earth, your peak during the first go round. For you, it was in expanding, because this is Jupiter, the planet of expansion. Expanding who you are as a fighter, as a soldier, as a pioneer, to be known for your art or for your work ethic or for your wealth. You came here to get the bag the first time around. You really wanted to make a name for yourself on earth and jump out there. This is backed up by the fact that this 11th house of your wishes and dreams and the soul tribe you belong to, your part of fortune, your sprinkle of luck is right here on the 11th house cusp. This means your friends, the people you connect to, the artists you connect to, the people who are also hard workers, possibly hedonists, people who are into weed and wine and just really earthly things, along with the great thinkers of the world, are your tribe, the people you connect to for inspiration, or the people you possibly will inspire yourself. The last area on here is this 12th house of leftover things. Um, the karmic things, the things that connect you to the all, the things you give away in order to be of assistance here. Now, for you, it's a little bit of your words. You aren't able to say what you need to sometimes because you're so diplomatic and caring about what other people say. And this is just something sort of put in place so you don't sort of abuse your power, because you always know how people feel. But that leads to this Cancer energy in the 12th. You are a sponge. It is important for you to cleanse as often as possible with you just picking up people's feelings like this all the time so that you don't go into depression, but also really important that you take care of yourself and remember that you cannot give from an empty cup. You can't pour from an empty cup. And this is just something that your soul needs to remember, because you have been trying to learn this for who knows how long. So thank you so much for your patience. And please let me know if you have any questions, Katherine.